fetal position, waiting for someone to save them, or curled up, just beat up.
Yeah, for sure.
So you sounded very positive on the phone. Nate said the same, or what we were texting. And so I think people want to hear that stuff. And that was Nate's,
for sure,
idea is like, let's check on people, talk to them, and see what happens.
We just know so many people. And for me, it's like you were talking about earlier, like what do you don't realize what you miss of your routine until it's like actually gone, right? And for me, it's like even some of the conversations we have just at the articulate in passing are just like, there's so many little conversations or connections that are now kind of gone.
My favorite was when you guys were the most in-depth discussion on the order of Marvel films. Like, if you were new to the space, what order should you do it in?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, there's a lot of arguments there.
Your gears are probably grinding like, God, I wish Nate would do his effing job right now.
Oh yeah, no. Well, what's funny about that, Jeff, is you did catch that. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but I was like, I was so stressed out right then, and I was hustling. I was like, what? Got time to fucking have not a surface level conversation, like nuanced conversation between like a couple choices in your branching hierarchy of the fucking way to do it, which is hilarious, right? Because I'm a Marvel fan from I have like probably a $5,000 comic book collection just because it's so old, and this spidered off from that so dramatically. And even within that universe, there was always like limited series doing this and that. I'm like, whatever makes sense, right? So that was funny.
No, I mean, yeah, it got in depth for sure. I think the time that Derek probably was literally closest to like Homer Simpson strangling me, like Bart Simpson, was like when we put Infinity War on the TVs, like when it came out that first day. Do you remember?
Dude, just blame that on me from now on. If you just show me how to do it, if I'm not texting.
Was that. It was you, and you're a cool guy, so I was like, I like locked it down.
Yeah, for sure.
The problem with like, intermittent noise is shown to distract. Like there's no, your senses don't adapt to the only sense is noise, and loud intermittent noise. So I just like, again.
I get it, but D, I'm the opposite. I need noise. I actually function better when it's not quiet, right? Yeah. And I know everyone's completely different, but like,
ambient noise like a light ambient noise actually increases concentration. It's intermittent loud noises that are
for sure
brain's hard to adapt to. But I find the same thing. Like I need to have I'll even be listening to an audiobook that I'm not actually listening to. Like a lightweight fiction where I only kind of check in, and it helps me do everything, right? Music doesn't work as well for me, actually. I need like different, but as long as ambient noise, like a coffee shop, is perfect.
I'm the same way. Even when I work out, like at home, I've got a podcast on. I'm not listening to music no more. I just, like, I go to the flow of the song, and when I'm listening to a podcast, I'm just so focused on the actual workout at hand and like getting through that versus like singing my favorite J. Cole song or, oh, Nate sent me this Kendrick verse today. Like, what am I doing, right?
Yeah, so, podcasts are actually, you're right about that. Podcasts are the best, or light fiction, but actually I like podcasts better. I forgot about that. I've been shifting to almost all Audible. I don't know why I'm not on podcasts as much. So,
well, Derek looks like
I have like a weird,
Derek's like insane when he's like at the gym. I know he can't go to the gym now, but like he's telling me he's like watching Spartacus on like the treadmill or like whatever he's doing. That's an intense show. I don't know if you watched it or not, but like,
I tried.
I mean, it's just like gladiators. They're either killing or they're fucking. Like one of the two is happening.
Orgies or violence or both. It's excellent. And then I look behind me and there's this old lady like on the elliptical. I was on the and I was like, oh hi, that's probably offensive, but don't look if you don't like.
Oh, it's so great. It's so great.
Are you recording this or not? Let's just record it and keep bullshit.
It looks recording, man. Yeah,
it's been recording. Yeah.
Oh, that's why I just did that in the middle of it. That's good. So
good shit. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Okay. So how are you working out now? What's your deal?
I'll be honest, it's tough, man. Like the gym to me is my haven. The gym to me is my getaway from life space. I've never, ever, ever, even when I had a home gym, been a fan of working out at home. I just never feel like I never feel like I get like that feel, that adrenaline, like that post-workout, like I just accomplished something. I earned my meal. I earned my laziness tonight if I want to be lazy. So what we're doing is, it hasn't been nice out, so everything's been inside, which sucks. But I just got a bunch of different types of bands. So 2 days a week, I do a push-pull workout. So it's typically between 400 and 500 push-ups and 1 to 250 pull-ups. And I just I go till I can't go anymore. And then I do like full body band workouts, which I'm actually really grateful for. Again, I'm trying to take positives out of this situation. Right. So like, even when I go back to the gym, I'm a weights guy. You guys know that. Like I'm an iron soul. Like that's what I need for my workouts. I hate cardio, hate all that crap.
I mean, your biceps are as big as Nate's head, and like
that's huge.
Small, that's not small, right? So
that's like that's the hardest part. But I'm learning so much about band work, what it's doing for my flexibility, what it's doing for my body. In all honesty, I'm gonna bring all 12 bands I have now in my gym bag every day, and I'm gonna start incorporating that stuff, right? So
there you
like,
go.
I'm not enjoying working out as much as I usually do at my gym, but at the same time, I'm learning so much about things that my body probably needs because I'm so used to doing my favorite types of workouts. Like I was doing like this lunge thing today with like a 125-pound resistance band. I did it last week and I literally couldn't walk for 2 days. I had to like keep my back and like, it was just like, oh my God, like I went way too hard. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. And then I have you guys are going to laugh at this, but like when I was in college and was bodybuilding, I had a system called Chop Fit. Like my nickname's Pork Chop, Chop Fit. And I had a buddy lose 150 pounds off it. And I'm actually making those workouts for people at my job now to do stuff at home. So I have like a Chop Fit outside,
Chop
like
Fit.
burpee, jump rope routine just to get some cardio in. So I'm not like gaining 1,000,000 pounds, but so that's been my thought. I'm not overdoing it. I try to sweat for an hour a day and I just want to get through this and then get back to my weights. So
dang it. I had to look it up. I wanted to see if someone had that domain already. They do.
They probably do, man.
And it's ridiculous.
Like
it's a program all about like chopping. Like I'll share this with you real quick. Have you seen this? Have you ever seen this?
My boss sent it to me. He's like, dude, you can't copyright it no more. And it looks so dumb.
It's just like this rubber axe.
Yes.
That is
it's so stupid.
Like, just go
$145.
Yeah.
But legit, like I did this when I was in college because I was fat. I lost a bunch of weight. I got like semi-lean and all my buddies were like, how did you do this? So I had like this idea of like how to like work out and exercise and eat decent but still enjoy a beer and still do it wasn't anything to an extreme. So I called it Chop Fit and I trained like 20 people in college. Kind of fell off a little bit, and then I helped a lady at work. She just wasn't seeing results, and I gave her like 5 or 6 tips, and then I made her one workout, and then she got abs in like 8 weeks. So like now everyone's asking me for this stuff, and it's like it's funny because it's like you ever see Good Will Hunting?
Yeah, of course.
Do that. So remember the part where Matt Damon goes at that guy in the bar, and he's like, "You paid $200,000 for an education you could have got from a public library." I mean, working out and nutrition is the same thing. It's just doing your own research and finding what works for you. But as you guys know, when it comes to fitness, most people need like that push and that guidance to get going.
Yeah, it's like been fun. Like circles the parking lot of the gym for 5 minutes to then go walk in place.
Yeah,
for sure.
Right? But in defense of the gym, there's a ritual that you go into. It shifts your mindset. All the stuff falls away. Just like working at home has that that blurs the lines between your sort of mindsets, right, and your shift in focus. So it's a little bit more challenging. There's a great. I bought a band that it's called Align, the Align band. I'll send it to you, but it's all about. It's like a excellent physical therapist, kind of like John Kumaro, built a whole system for at-home stuff, and it has this unique attachment where you can put the band into you shut a door, and it's all about strength, core conditioning. And he has a free bunch of podcasts that you can then use it. So you don't even need his band, but it is intense. I'm just starting to get into it. Man, I had bought that thing like 2 months ago, and now I just broke it out because I'm like, I got to do something besides walking and like a Derek version of yoga, which I'm sure would offend every yoga practitioner in the world.
For sure, yeah. Oh, that's funny. The doorstop is the greatest thing ever.
Yep. Exactly.
For the bands, it's like you can do 1,000,000 workouts with a band and just sweat your balls off for freaking hours. What were you gonna say, Nate?
No, I just got so lucky that I was going to PT with Kumro and he gave me a bunch of bands right before this happened. Like, so I was really lucky. Have you tried any of his Zoom workouts?
I haven't. I actually was looking to do so like Lisa knows him too from BNI, obviously.
Right.
And he said they were like selling them. So I was going to go there to buy them, but I actually wanted heavier resistance ones, so I ended up buying them online because I was going to support their business and all that stuff. But
Sure.
So I wasn't against it. But I might try one or two moving forward. But yeah, what I got right now is, not gonna lie, it's kicking my ass.
Yeah, right, you guys.
Now, yeah, I know
Tough,
Kumaro knows how to make you sweat. I just was curious because, I mean, his physical therapy is intense. I just want to see how intense he can make it through Zoom. You know, he's not slapping butts through the iPad or anything like that, but he can still tell you to. Yeah. He can still tell you to stick it out like a stripper. All the stuff that he says is always so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it gets the job done. It's so outrageous.
It's like nothing else.
I like look up to him. Yeah, like nothing else.
Yeah,
like I haven't had elbow pain in 8 weeks.
I was on all fours and he rode me around, smacking my butt, like out of force. But the workout was like nothing else because that pulls out. You can pull out of you effort and energy that is just unreal that you don't even know you have until you're puddled on the floor later. So.
And he got the mind rolling in me. Like when I was doing PT with him, he's like, honestly, Chop, like. That's what he would do. He's like, you got all that ass and you can't do this. And then he'd slap me and be like, well, what the shit? And I go to the gym and I try it. And then people started asking me what I'm doing. And I'm like, this crazy PT dude I go to told me to do this. And I saw increased strength like right away. Like, so I'm adding just like his hold positions, his negative reflex positions. And I'm just like, again, it's been a very interesting year workout wise with the injury, I was sick for a while. And then now this. My entire regime is going to change once things go back to normal whenever they do. And I'm like excited about it. So I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, the one thing I miss from the gym the most is the sauna. Like that is one thing I've considered buying, but I don't like these little infrared ones, although Costco just put a great one on sale. But like assembling that, it's too, I don't know what the structured reentry is going to look like, but I can be patient. I'm sort of over the yearning enough that I can wait another month or two.
Yeah.
But outside of that, man, I have so many different, like you, I have, what I do, I use the gym to mentally prepare myself for the day because I go in the morning 95% of the time. I've had to take all of that, which is a lot easier to do in the gym because the physical movement sort of kicks me into gear and I don't have that as much. So I've had to restructure. I go through some priming exercises for the mind, for the emotions to get sharpened and ready for the day and leaning into it, right? So I've had to recreate that without the physical boost. And so I'm going to wire that into the physical boost. And I think it's going to be awesome. So definitely upgraded my approach, my morning, get ready, get optimized thing. So
I'm the same way, man. Like the gym for me was I either go at lunch or right after work, but it sets my mindset for the day in the sense of like, it makes it easier for me to also control my food habits because like I'm a big guy. I love food. Like food is a drug for me. That's always been my biggest issue for me is nutrition. It's not exercise. I've exercised my entire life, even when I was fat. I can still put away a large pizza if I want to and a pint of Ben & Jerry's, not think twice about it. So when I wake up and I got a push-pull day at 4 p.m., it's easy for me to ignore all the snacks that people bring into the shared space. Like, because I know when I get to my workout, I'm just wasting my time at that point.
Yeah, totally.
Like the dinner time, and then I feel great for my workout and I want to eat well. Yeah. Like the gym, that you're right. Finding that focus again. Like, if I don't work out at lunch right now, being at home to split up the computer work, I don't even work out because by the end of the day, I'm so dead. It just, it's crazy.
It's like inertia actually drains you and exercise actually gives you energy. You don't think that way especially when you're tired.
Sure.
I don't got the energy. Six pack is made in the kitchen. My favorite line, not in the gym.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. They say it's 80-22, and for me, it's like 95-5. Like,
yeah, totally.
You can work out however you want, but
so much. Right? Yeah. I'll take your 80-20 and make it 99, which is the way.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you saw it last year, right? When we all went through the keto diet, right? Like everyone, or at least Derek and I dropped a lot of pounds pretty quickly. Had to go get a whole new closet basically, and that was like at that time I wasn't working out. I was just changed the diet, and I think like in 2 months, every time I walk by you, you're just like, now you're really skinny.
Disappearing, man.
Yep.
I'm glad you're getting in the gym though.
Yeah. Right. That's where you get the beautiful combo, right? So
no,
man.
I know you're hyped about that. It's been more difficult now, obviously, without any of the gym stuff, but still getting the workout done in the morning. I don't know. I've been using like those different like mobile app workouts, the ones that like Kumaro suggested. So that's been nice. Otherwise, I feel like groggy in the morning because it's like there's nothing to do. You just know you're already at home and you just have to log on to get like meetings ready. So it's like if I don't have that buffer time in the morning, it's like, well, why not just wake up 5 minutes before our first Zoom call?
Yeah.
You feel like you have like all the time in the, I know we all still don't have all the time in the world, but do you just feel like without travel, without like, do you feel like you can get up and just, you're kind of taking a step back of like, okay, I can approach this a little bit differently. I can really maybe attack this a little bit more effectively because I'm not worried about getting in the car. I'm not worried about making my gym bag. I'm not worried about doing all those things that I typically need to do. Because you're right, you still need that routine aspect to your day, right? Even if you're not leaving and you're sitting in your house for 24 hours. It's just, I feel like I have all the time in the world and I still know I don't. But it's a reset in my focus and my mindset.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I feel like a whole new employee right now. It's really crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Nate and I were talking about that the other day. Like we've gained a lot of time back, and you sort of forget some how your routines cost time, though they're nice, right? It is really interesting. So I do feel like there probably is more net time still, but then training yourself to not let that just expand into, busy work or bullshit. So
absolutely.
I mean, for me, I think I mentioned it to Derek, it's like it's like probably 15, 20 minutes to get to the Articulate every day. It's like a 40-minute commute there and back. It's like you've just essentially gained 40 minutes of your day. What are you going to do with it?
Yep.
For me, I tried splitting it. Like now I'm just trying to read more because Derek is like constantly feeding us books, both fiction and nonfiction, business related, fantasy, everything you can imagine. I think since knowing Derek, my library has expanded a lot.
Yeah. It's good.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. My goal is always just a book a month, like just to keep the mind active, but I'm already through 6 books. Like if I pick one up and I'm addicted to it, like I won't work for a day. I think 3 of the 6 books I've read this year, I finished in less than 2 days. Wow. And I just go with it. And if it's something I'm like right now, I'm reading a Dave Ramsey book just to do it because I ordered books online and I'm waiting for them to get here. So I just need something to keep the brain active. But that's where I'm at. All that extra time is going to reading. I notice most people watching more TV, eating out a little bit more somehow, do it. And I try to approach it way differently of like this is an opportunity, to really take that step back. And like time is always of the essence and excuse, especially in my world. Like I'm in the car half the time. I'm traveling most of the time and I'm exhausted for the most part. So I have to stay active. Yeah. But now that I don't have that, like, how am I challenging myself? And reading has been the ultimate kickback to this entire quarantine thing. Is I'm so glad I found that passion again of just feeding my brain nonstop versus a podcast, an audio book. Like I love physically having a book in my hand, sitting in my grandpa chair, drinking coffee, and I'll just rock through 6 hours and not even think twice about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, one of the things how I use my extra time is I'm not a morning person, even though I used to get up at 6:30 to go work out, which is a terrible experience if you're not a morning person. But I shifted right back to my late night routine. So I'm going to bed at midnight, 12:30.
Yeah.
So I capture, and like that's my favorite time to read and to think. Kids are asleep. There's no work activity that really is pressing. And even if it is work, it's more thoughtful. So that's been a cool shift. How are the Special Olympics? What's going on there?
This must be brutal.
It is, but it's not. The funny thing is like I've never worried about my job, which is a good thing because I don't know what like leadership did internationally, but I don't know any chapter that's shut down or not working, which is a very good thing. That means our leadership planned for an emergency. All of our reserve funds can like help us out. We're very good at running events and doing our job at a very minimum, almost no budget aspect. So our leadership has been really great in cutting our budget for 2020 to make sure that we have jobs and we're not going to get laid off. So I'm 100% grateful for that, which is also keeping me super motivated. But all my buddies are talking to me and they're like, man, you run events. Like, how are you still working? Right. So then I walk through our process and our organizational structure and their mindset, and they're kind of blown away by it because again, it's great that we're all still working. So what we're doing, especially now in this new leadership position I'm in, I can't speak for like the regional managers and like mid-level management and coordinators and stuff, but like I feel busier than ever. Like I wake up, I'm either in a Zoom meeting or I'm creating some new document or process that I know I've wanted to put in place since I started this new gig. But we're in the process of our state summer games are our biggest event typically every year, and they're held in Grand Junction in mid-June. Everything right now is pushed back to like the end of June. So we're like doing plans A, B, C, and D to try to hold that event if we're allowed to come back June 1. We're shut down through May 31st. It's not April 26th. It's not what the governor's recommending. Even if they say everything's normal on April 26th, then it won't be. We're still planning for a June 1st start date with everything that's Special Olympics related, training, practice, competition. So we're prepping on these crazy timelines to get through to when our summer season typically starts. So we're replanning an entire event from the ground up while also waiting for like the rules that are going to be put in place. Like, what if only 50 people are allowed in an event in June? Like, how do we approach that? So then it's not just plan A, B, C, or D anymore. It's plan A, B, C, and D with subpoints 1, 2, and 3 on how we're literally planning for every situation we can imaginable. Yeah. Throw on top of that, our 5-year strategic plan is due at the end of the year. So that's something that we've been working really heavily on and like researching and just kind of dumping our brains into. So again, man, I am not complaining about work right now. I am not complaining about not being busy. Like Monday through Thursday, we're balls to the wall, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The occasional night meeting still with key volunteers. Friday, I try to take it easy a little bit, but everyone's doing well. I think a lot of our people are very sociable. I think outside of like 2 people in our office, most people they're in the field, right? So that's been the biggest adjustment for everyone. So, but from my personal perspective, we're kicking ass. I think like we're staying ahead of the game. We're challenging ourselves and trying to think outside of the box of ways we can still recruit fundraisers, even though people don't really have money right now and they're losing their jobs. Like our team is really approaching this in a really positive aspects. And that starts with our CEO, and she's been nothing but amazing. So we've got nothing but the full support of our leadership, and we're just kind of taking it day by day and approaching it as like, 1, we're grateful to have a job and to get a paycheck during this time. And 2, why do we do this job? For our athletes and for the events. So like, if I have to replan this summer games 15 times, that's my responsibility, and I'm not going to let those athletes down.
God, I gotta say, like, this is this is a breath of fresh air. What an exceptional organization. That's crazy, because scenario planning, we first had to move for our clients across 17 industries to figure out, to gather intel and report back so they could make intelligent moves in the short term. And now that we're having some kind of reentry, we've entered scenario planning. Like, what are the likely what are the options that you have currently, and what are the likely scenarios that you can execute against that? And that takes, that's a level, probably 3 levels above what I have seen in a lot of other business owners and leadership. So good job. I recommended that book to you, Anti-Fragile, and you basically just described an anti-fragile organization. The definition of anti-fragile is something that benefits from stress or disorder or chaos. Mm-hmm. You have fragile, which breaks under those conditions. Yeah. You have resilience in the middle, which is you bounce back to normal. And you can take quite a bit of punishment the more resilient you are. But then you have the concept of stressors. Instead of just your strength to return to normal, you become stronger, better, and more capable. And I studied the last 2 recessions and looked for any evidence-based approaches. And more or less what they say is put the brakes on, find the path forward, and then accelerate through it. And that unfortunately in this situation is different than the other recessions, in that there is no clear map of how it's going to unroll, and the work itself has shifted. The dynamics have probably shifted until there's a vaccine, which is about a year out at a minimum. So you're going to have a lot of both legislated changes, but also the perception of people and fear. So you have to be reassessing and scenario planning. And to me, that's what Anti-Fragile is all about. If you gain that ability from this, you will be perfectly poised to unfold the best things you can for people. And then that skill into the future will allow you to map your objectives and your strategies and your responses much, much better. So good job. Both.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
No, I knew Jeff would be, he's always so positive and, I guess not resilient, but anti-fragile. So that's why, you were a good option for our first interview, conversation, whatever we're going to call this thing moving forward. But
Yeah.
I knew you'd be a good one, and you know different aspects of Derek and I, so it'd be cool to connect.
You don't
on the
think we're two
various
whacked
things.
out and crazy fuckers. That and also the other reason is you live anti-fragile in the physical world, right? The human body is anti-fragile, like a box is not. Inanimate things are very rarely, they don't gain, they're either resilient or fragile. But the human body, if the stressors are within certain bounds, you actually get stronger. Obviously you have to have recovery, but you live that. I mean, you have pushed your body, transformed your body, you're stronger and more capable. And you said yourself, you were a terrible eater, very unhealthy. Those stressors, you found a way to transform and come out stronger. And then you're mapping pathways. I did not know that chop suey workout program was such a thing, right? But that's fucking cool. I love that. And if I could do anything right now, I would try to impart to people there are principles that will make you anti-fragile in this case, not just survive it, but survive it in such a manner that you come out stronger and more capable on the other side. So
I'm excited to read that book, man. I threw it in my book of 4 that I ordered on Monday, so I can't wait to get it.
I bet you'll blaze through it, no doubt about it.
Probably.
Dude, we might be able to get ThorChopFit.com, you know what I mean? Just throw the Thor
dude,
up there.
That'd be amazing. Yeah. Oh man, I wish I could show you guys something right now. So one of my friends from work, her name's Julia. She's from Pennsylvania, and one of her friends is owns his own tattoo shop or something. They're shut down, so he's doing all this little artwork. So she actually just sent it to me today, 2 months early, but her and her daughter went in on it. And this guy drew a Thor Chop comic cover with my face on Thor's body. It's so freaking cool.
Oh man,
they're gonna frame it for me. You'll see it in person, but
that's dope.
Yeah. Why not just body with Thor's cape? I mean, you got.
Oh God, I wish. Yeah. I need the hair though. I was glad they kept me bald and I didn't have the helmet on. You can see actually my entire head, but
that's hilarious.
It was really fun.
Do you have Mjolnir in it? Is it
I do. I'm standing there just like this, and I just bigger biceps than I want at that time. But I don't know. It was super cool, and the fact that her daughter was a part of it, and we're really close, obviously. So it was a very early birthday surprise that they couldn't keep to themselves. But
you can't tell me though. Man. You can't tell me you haven't been watching Marvel movies though, right? I feel like you're always having them in the background.
I'm telling you, I watch so much less TV right now, man.
Wow.
I get done with work, I work out, I read 1 or 2 chapters in my book, and then I eat, and then this is Lisa's time right now. We're watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy. She's never seen them, so every night we watch one of those. I haven't watched one Marvel movie since this quarantine started. I'm not kidding.
That's wild.
Crazy.
That's wild to me.
Man. But I'm all about it.
Yeah, I suspect that some of our more basic needs are being met, and then a lot of TV is the drive for distraction, right? And sort of escapism. And I think that some of these shifts have somehow been more positive, and so I don't feel any more socially distanced. I don't feel any less lacking in connection and meaningful conversation. It feels equal, and I almost feel a better sense of, what's nice about this is a fucked up sentence. What's nice about a pandemic is that a lot of that nagging background annoyances fall away. And you have a big thing, a challenge outside of yourself that is greater than we usually all have interacted with. I mean, maybe not personally, but as a country, as a world, we have one of the biggest challenges that's ever hit us. And so it wonderfully focuses the mind, and that sort of annoying, omnipresent and lack of direction stress that's very hard to counter just fell away from me. So I don't know if you've experienced that at all, but that to me then leads to less distraction-oriented behavior.
Yeah, I agree. I think one thing that's really been on my mind a lot, I know I'm a people person. I feed off the energy of people. What I'm grateful for just in general, and just something that I really think about, not even just with Special Olympics, but with jobs in general. You kind of mentioned it the other day, Derek, when we were texting, is people are realizing the benefit of what you guys do now, of what you can get done to where you can save time, you can save stress, and you can get those things. At the same time, I also feel the need, there's still nothing better to me than a one-on-one conversation in person with someone.
Right.
But the ability to be more efficient, the ability to just be more open and have the ability to still connect. If this happened 10 years ago, we couldn't do this. We'd be so worse off, right? the first thing I did was take a step back. Like, one, I'm already treating this like we're on house lockdown. I only go out to get groceries. So this last 2 months, like, I'm mentally prepped for that. The people freaking out that they can't go for runs or walks, like, prep for it now so you expect the worst and don't complain about it. But I get what you're saying, 100%. I think it shows the benefit of both, though, at the same time. Like, also how important human interaction is. Like, we can get a lot done, and I appreciate this, and what you guys do is amazing in that sense. Like, helping all these small businesses and local businesses, like, stay on their feet and hopefully even do better once they come out of this. But it also shows the importance to me of just that community. We can have this community online, but like, when this is all over, I can't wait for whatever party where someone's going to throw. And I can give someone a hug, and I can get a hug back, and it's going to be great.
In 2021. No, I'm kidding.
100%. You might be right, man.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I think I might be right. But it's interesting, though. I think why I feel more connection now is some of the strongest men and women I know, I am having daily conversations with them about how to save their dreams and how to help them, and providing for the first time intel from the front lines. The digital world is the true front line right now. And we can spot trends, and they have broken down in tiers. And almost for last week, every conversation with some of the most powerful guys I know have been like, this is the best thing I've heard since lockdown. I feel it's not just positive energy. It is an actual plan based on real intel. And, the most vocal people in social media, and then we know the news outlets oriented this way around like high sensationalized stuff. So the actual like inbound messages we're getting from both the media and from social are from a small percentage of the population. But what it's created is the middle tier are confused and starting to get afraid. Like, they were pretty calm, and then they couldn't buy toilet paper. Like that same, like that. The panicked people created more uncertainty than the situation warranted. Not to get into lockdown, but their response to the lockdown. And so I just realized as you were talking, that's why I think I feel more connection than ever, is because bullshit conversation, which is fine, but I'm not really a fan of small talk, as you've noticed. I want to talk about something
for sure
every time. Doesn't matter if there's a Marvel movie in the background. But that is so heightened, and the connections are so real, and like a lot of the social barriers to real talk are gone. And so I am fine. I think that's why I am surprised, because one of my friends wants to call tomorrow because he's really worried about me. And I was like, because I'm such a social animal, but it was a good reminder of like, well, I'm not feeling that way at all. And I think it's because meaningful connection right now is essential. In normal, catastrophic crises, people band together, like with Katrina, all of these different things. They would group together, and like those were the hero stories we all loved. Well, that's literally the opposite of what we can do right now in the physical world. But digitally, it seems like that is happening. At least that's my experience so far. Nate, what do you think? Do you agree with that? Is that how you feel, or?
Yeah, I mean, people ask me, because I feel like I don't know if omnivert's the right term or whatever, like a mix of introvert and extrovert. But like you were saying, with the communication with clients, with just people in general, they're more intimate conversations, right? So I don't feel like the loss of connection. When people want to reach out and talk to us, it's usually about something serious, usually something that's super real. So I don't feel like disconnected from different communities and groups. Plus, as you know, I've been on a million different Zoom happy hours, so there's been that connection still.
Knows how to use plurals. It's not a happy hour anymore. It's a happy half of a fucking day, by the way.
It's safer than going out. You're already at home.
Yeah, no, I'm a fan.
It's true.
Get the connection the way you can.
I'm sure Uber and Lyft are mad, but don't have to dial them up at 1 a.m. anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's I love hearing your guys' perspective on it, because when you take like what I do, so like Special Olympics uses sports as a platform for social inclusion, right? So the people that I serve, that Special Olympics serves, they don't really have the opportunities we have in everyday life of bullshitting about Marvel movies at like a job and like things of that nature. We're prepping our athletes to get to that point. I think that's why for me, I always still lean on those. For us, the intermittent, like the static conversations of just seeing the athlete, giving them a hug and asking them about their week. That's what they live for. Like,
right.
So that has been the biggest challenge in our eyes. Completely understand what you guys are saying from a work perspective and from dealing with sponsors, vendors, coaches. Everything is very specific and it is way more focused.
Wow.
But we have that added level of like our athletes like need our sports. They need the stuff that we offer, which is that physical, social contact connection, that inclusive piece, because like that's what we're still fighting for in society, right? So yeah. I love hearing your guys' take on it because like you say, the digital footprint is leading what we're doing right now and keeping that connection. And that's been our big focus. Like we created a sport-specific virtual training page of like, these are the 5 sports that we're offering in the spring. Typically they're canceled, but here's 16 soccer training workouts that you guys can do at home.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right. So like, that's where we've tried to kind of been creative because our athletes crave that connection. They crave that one-on-one attention, that, you know, how do I feel included in the community? And that's our biggest disconnect right now in the sense of, you know, a lot of our athletes are struggling, you know, that mentally they're really down and they're out. And that's where we have to stay positive. We have to, again, use the digital footprint, as you call it, use social media, use our website to kind of get them going. But I love this conversation because, again, the servicing of 2 completely different groups of people and the effects it's having and like, and why.
That's a real challenge to recreate. I mean, so you can't recreate all of it, right? I mean, you know, boy, that's a big one. And, you know, God, it just, again, reinforces that your attitude is just so on point because still pivoting and trying to offer the best you can. And what I love about that, you know clearly where you add the value. And you guys got that dialed, but the ability to try to get, you know, prepare for it as much as you can so you could roll out and still deliver that. I mean, very impressive. That is very impressive.
Yeah, I was that makes a lot of sense because I was gonna say I know you're so connected to all the athletes and you know the volunteers, things like that. I was curious what types of resources or what you guys were doing to help them because I imagine, like you said, every weekend I see every week, you know, you got so many events you're usually planning, running, interacting with parents and kids. So that's great that there's at least some stuff you guys can do online.
Yeah, no, we just need to create a VR suit that is a virtual hub.
That would be amazing.
If VR stalled big time, virtual reality
for sure.
If it had not stalled and like they had pressure suits, God knows what people would actually use them for. Let that imagination go with that one.
True.
But like if there was a way to do a virtual hug where it could replicate some of that stuff, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it's really great. And again, it opened the door to now we're going to do this virtual training year-round on this webpage, and we're going to give our athletes the opportunities to create the videos. So rather than linking it to a YouTube video, we're going to have a soccer team do these 16 soccer drills. So an athlete is learning from a peer, not from someone else that they don't know, right? So again, we're super geeked, man. Like everyone was bringing out like, hey, here's this. We have a program called Fit 5, which is great, but it's like a 37-page PDF you have to read through and there's no guidance. Like we created a workout calendar and said on March 1st, do workout 1 and do drill 1 for soccer. On March 2nd, like, you know, again, you guys understand, like in the fitness world in general, not just with Special Olympics athletes, you're way more apt to succeed if you have a routine set up for you.
Yeah.
If you're looking at a calendar and I have to do this versus sorting through a 27-page document to be like, I guess I'll do this today and not hold myself accountable.
Such a high barrier, right? To like get people to engage.
Yeah, it reminds me of this really cool study where they showed 2 groups of people. One highly motivational things about it was for setting an appointment to clean your teeth, and they showed them like terrifying things that happen if you don't. The other group, they gave clear instructions on how to set up an appointment with like just a sort of a brief overview of why you should do it. And the group that knew how to do it massively outperformed like 72 to the other group. And so to me, people overestimate motivation, and they underestimate a path that is effortless to get there, right? That's why the iPhone works. There's a great book called Don't Make Me Think, designed around how to build websites. It's a terrible book, but the title is good. And, again, leveling up what you do and serving your people and continuing to drive that when seemingly, if you listen to like what would be an obvious conclusion, there would be nothing for you to do but sit around and plan. Yeah. I love it, because that to me, you're continuing to learn and evolve against the situation and actually using the situation to become better, right? One of our all favorite books, we all know, The Obstacle is the Way, right? The same thing. And the obstacle becomes the way. Actually, I like that version of the translation better. You're literally making this a way forward to deliver that is different and better. I mean, at least in some aspects. So good job again, man, killing it.
Yeah, just trying. Man.
I feel like what I make clients feel, I'm feeling from you right now.
Good. I appreciate that, man.
I'm serious though. That is way good. No wonder people are talking to me all day. No, I'm joking. So.
It's a weird sell, but like our two focal points, at least me with my team, has been one, our job is not, we're event planners technically, but we're purveyors of hope at this point. Yep. We need to make sure that our athletes know that something is going to be there for them no matter what. And that's what we're going. And then again, once I see what other states do and Special Olympics, North American, International, like my goal, and my team knows this, is like, I want people to come to us for what we create. And we approach every project like that even before this, but it's more meaningful now than ever. So,
well, and now it's showing. Yeah. The approach is showing its power and anti-fragility, right? Sure. Like where that's when everyone's rich, fat, and happy. People just do things the way they've always done. And now that is literally technically impossible for most of the world. And so, again, that's why we're thriving in this, is that we have the floor to show a bit different approach, and that's been very helpful. And in your case, like the principles you incorporate into your work and your clear understanding of the essence of what you do. I mean, that keeps coming up as like one of the key. I'm collecting key principles that help companies be anti-fragile, right? And what I keep hearing is one of the ways that you've done it is a very clear sense of the essence of what you do, and let that be your guiding light. Like technically you said you're event planners, but that's bullshit, man. Yeah. The understanding the more ephemeral principles behind what you do, and the essence, I guess is probably the best word, is a principle that is allowing you to kill it. And it's flourishing under stress and disorder, right? So yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
What else you guys got for me?
Yeah, man. Fuck, I like feel spent right now. I have my power full.
It's all good, man. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, like now I'm ready to go, not watch TV, but read a book.
Yeah, that's what I mean, man. Right? It's. Yeah. I actually have you read? So I finished this like 2 books ago. Have you read Grain Brain by Perlmutter?
The Grain Brain.
Yeah, have you heard of it?
No, he's got a new book out about technology in the brain. I want to check out. Grain Brain. My mom is a master nutritionist. She to download, and being keto AF, I already am anti anything with the word grain in it. So right.
Well, but that's what it's about. So I was blown away. So I got this book in the midst of like training to be in bodybuilding shows and stuff.
Yeah.
My friend sent it to me for my 30th birthday, and I never made it through 4 chapters. Like I would read 4 chapters, I'd stop and be like, yeah, my diet's good. I look good. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, I own it. I'm going to just read this book. And I read it in 2 days. The entire second half of the book is ketosis and intermittent fasting.
Oh, wow.
Like I immediately thought of you, and I'm like, so I've had this at my disposal for 5 years. 5 years ago, keto and IM weren't what they are now.
Nope.
Like, and I'm just kind of like, I really wish I would have read this and had a better understanding of this 5 years ago when I freaking got it as a gift. You should read it, man. It's literally what everything that you put in your body and exercise does to your brain. Yeah. And ketosis is the main factor of the entire second half of the book.
I think I'm all for it.
Yeah,
I love it.
You know, it's actually
anything I can do to reinforce and better understand that's awesome.
I was blown away. I immediately thought of you guys, and I'm just like, they'll eat this shit up. Like they're gonna love it.
Yeah, his new book about technology's impact on the brain terrifies me. So I put that away on purpose. I'm like, not yet.
For sure.
I don't know if I'm ready for the ramifications of that knowledge yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we know what Derek's going to do this weekend is basically read that book. I have no doubt about it. Add it to our Keto AF list when we send people.
Totally.
They always get so fascinated about the ketosis process. Derek has like developed like an Amazon list for people and just like a 101 on how to start because people are so skeptical about it.
Well, it's the same thing like teaching them how to, Nate, right? Like they might buy into the motivational side of it, but there's the keto flu, but more importantly, they don't know how to execute it in their daily life. And the biggest thing I get is they don't know how to order out, which is the only way I eat. Even now, Grubhub and I are besties. The way to customize food out to keep that. So teaching people how to is it self-motivational increases it. So that's where I think I can help because I did it back before keto was cool. Just when Bulletproof hit, I took the Bulletproof diet, which is way harder than keto. So, I mean, he's like keto plus no tomato, like all kinds of shit. It drove me crazy. It was too hard. But the how, like suffering all that and then collecting the lessons, especially because I had no option. I have to eat out. I literally have an allergy to cooking. So I'm kidding. No,
I know it's okay. I'm just like, he's so full of shit right now.
Yeah, I know, totally. Right? I know, right? It's a course at 40,000 hours. I'm an expert. I take 10,000 hours. I got 40,000 into eating out. I'm
for sure.
Dude, people hate when we order food. People hate when we order food out. Like the Rio has to like take a 25 item customization for our stuff.
Tell them to stretch their hand out before they take the order. Like get that thing loose.
They literally know when we call now. They're like, oh, it's the keto people. They don't want beans. They don't want rice. Fuck your tortillas.
Yeah, for sure. Fuck your tortillas. It's so great.
But everything else is delicious.
Dig it, The first like 4 chapters is like the science of it all. He doesn't even bring up the state of ketosis or intermittent fasting till like the middle of part 2 or part 3 of the book. But he lays out like a 4-week plan. He gives you a recipe for every meal. He tells you what veggies to eat. Like again, you might already know all this, but like if you have a list of books for people to help them get started, this one should be right at the top.
It's exactly what we say on all fronts. What are the entry points that help people? Because sometimes when you get into something so much, you start talking to them, their eyes glaze over. This happens to me really, right? Like they're like, where are you? I don't have the context to deal with this. So that's a good one for sure for that.
Definitely check it out. Yeah.
Well, people are like, what is a ketone? They're like, is this just like another fad diet? What's the science behind it? What's the cycle? What do you mean I can lose weight just by eating hot wings every day? It's not just that, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not. I mean, I was blown away. Like I looked into it a little bit with you guys, like, and I tried it for a month and I liked it, but like reading this book and it broke it down to like the cell. And now I just know every process of what every piece of glucose in my body, what it turns into like it just when Derek talks about anything, like that's how I felt about keto after this. I read this book and I'm just like, I'm semi-pro on this right now. I get it.
On the body, I think that's where people are like, that's okay until they realize like you're reducing harm, right? Like aging is death by 1,000 cuts. And so elimination of the negative is as important as what you add. In fact, arguably more important is what to cut. And so giving people evidence and understanding of the impact of it, because that's the hardest thing people will say to me. It's either pasta or bread. They don't want to give up. Right. And so, all right, you sold me.
It's great. Yeah. And it's funny too, because it's high fat, high protein, low carb, like his original talk in the book. And I've done that since I was bodybuilding. I've never been a carb guy in general. Like I would eat 2 avocados with a chicken breast for a meal. Like the importance of fat in your body is what scares people the most from my experiences. And it's just, I don't get it. It makes you fuller. It makes you feel great. Like, and that's what your brain needs. It's insane. Like the comparisons he makes in the book are mind blowing. So
and people also are worried about cholesterol. Like cholesterol is what I find, like fat too. But from that cholesterol, until they realize that 60% to 70% of cholesterol, bad cholesterol, is produced from the body, not from what you consume. And the number one trigger for that is sugar. So keto, even though you might be consuming more technically, more cholesterol, you're producing less of the negative, which is the majority. So,
and it goes back to people being in a routine. Like if my dad did this, he would think like, oh, so I can eat a ribeye every night. No, Pops, like you still got to balance it out.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, please
you
don't.
have to balance everything.
Like,
Like,
not dirty keto.
that's what I mean. Like, you can't have all. That's where the bad cholesterol comes into play too. Like, you can't just pick the two things you like to eat. Like, you got to balance your body out. It's
not bacon for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
No,
exactly.
God.
Lovely.
Which would be amazing. Yeah, Applegate, baby, all day. All day. They get that 5 for $5 deal at King Supers. I buy 20 packs and I just keep them in the freezer.
Good Lord.
Oh, so good. I actually do that. I'm not lying.
No, I 100% believe you.
Yeah.
Well, dude, they were like $2.50 one day, and they're usually $5.50 for a pack. Me and Lisa literally bought them out, and we just keep them in the freezer.
Dude, you got the deals. When you sent me that White Claw thing, I was like, I gotta go.
I was all about it, man. And then the variety pack, sign me up, dude. Thursday
Watermelon.
and Friday are my happy hours.
Watermelon's the best flavor.
And tangerine. Tangerine's good too.
Dude, they limited me. They only let me take 4 packs out of King Supers.
Yeah, I bought 3 just to buy 3. I'll buy every time I go shopping now. I'm gonna buy 1 or 2. That's the best flavor combination.
That's smart. That's smart.
It's all good. Yeah. Oh, this is great, guys. Appreciate you guys reaching out and chatting and catching up. So
it's awesome.
No,
I gotta call a client here. Katie's harassing me, Nate. So
let's figure out how to wrap this up. Jeff, thanks for taking Jeff Chop. I don't know, man. I still not used to calling you Chop. I just
it's all good, man.
I go with your legal name, Jeff. Thanks for taking the time and chatting with us. You know,
great.
It was clear that you were the best first option, being so positive. Is there anything you want to share at the end now? I mean, I know we've talked so long, but is there any message, anything like that?
Yeah, and like where can we reach out to help out or learn more about Special Olympics, that kind of stuff too? Definitely throw that in.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say like I've been pushing to everyone I talk to, use this as an opportunity. Stop looking at it as you can't do what you want to do. Use this as a challenge to yourself to make yourself better, even if it's one little thing. If you watch TV 12 hours a day, watch TV 11 hours a day. It does not have to be a monstrous step. As long as taking a step in the right direction, just make sure you're utilizing this time to 1, stay sane, 2, stay active. And when you come out of it a better person, because in all honesty, the likelihood of this happening in our lifetime was slim to none, but it happened, which means it could happen again. So as far as Special Olympics goes, I mean, I can send you guys the link, but if you just go to specialolympicsco.org, we got that virtual train page right on the front of our website. We're blasting it to everyone. That's our focal point right now. And we're in the midst of updating that as well. But any information you guys want to find, please find out there. Check out what we're doing. Utilize those workouts if you guys want to, or if you know anyone at home that needs help with something. We love putting those together. So feel free to check it out. And as always, come to me if you guys need anything in any way, shape, or form. So appreciate you.
That's a great way to end it. What a good note. All right.
Sweet. Well, thanks again,
guys.
Jeff. We'll talk soon, I'm sure.
For sure.
All right.
Of course, man. We'll talk. See
All
ya.
right. Bye.
Take care.